It is Monday, August the 15th, 2022. Good morning. I'm Pearson Bowen. This is the CBC Morning Report. Barbadians are being assured the Fair Trading Commission will not be favoring the Barbados Light and Power in the upcoming rate hearing. Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Trading Commission, Dr. Marcia Adley Akechi, is refuting suggestions that the Commission leans more towards the side of the utility companies whenever there are decisions to be made. She made that comment on last evening's one-on-one program on TV8.
Absolutely not. That is one criticism that is not founded in fact. The utility regulation department is set up such that the analysis has to go into it. We focus our work very much on the empirical data that undergirds everything that we do, as well as the legislation. Those two things are the fundamentals in terms of how we go forward with any decision.
The CEO said that consumer protection is just one of the roles performed by the Commission. Commenting broadly on the rate application by the Barbados Light and Power Company, she's explained that the regulator, they have to perform a delicate balancing act.
In the rate hearing, you will hear a lot of talk about rate base, a lot of talk about revenue requirement, a lot of talk about rate of return. The utility will ask for a rate of return, is asking for a rate of return of about 8-point-something%. The onus of the Commission is not to guarantee that rate of return. And I want to stress that. It is not to guarantee that rate of return. It is to provide an opportunity for the utility to get a reasonable rate of return. A reasonable rate of return is not necessarily what they've asked for.
Well, that rate hearing starts on August the 25th. Meanwhile, the FTC continues to receive a number of complaints and inquiries from consumers, but those numbers decreased somewhat after the start of the COVID-19 pandemic.
At the end of the financial year, March 31st, we registered a total of 2,452 customer queries. And it will vary depending on the time of year. You will get more around like Christmas time, back to school, high commercial activity periods. Again, in the midst of COVID, we would have seen a reduction in complaints, obviously because the commercial activity was considerably reduced.
Dr. Adley Akechi adds that they're concerned about online services and the possibility of ensuring there is appropriate legislation to cover that area.
We recognize that legislation necessarily does not speak to that in its full state. Legislation obviously oftentimes lags behind the technology, and that is something that we are looking at reviewing so that we can advocate for an amendment in legislation to allow it to be fit for purpose.
We'll take a break here, but coming up on the CBC Morning Report, grain finally leaves Ukraine as countries facing famine breathe a sigh of relief. We're back after this. A 96-year-old female is the latest to succumb to COVID-19. Her death on the 14th of August means the number of COVID-19 related deaths in Barbados is now 517. Meanwhile, the number of positive cases in Barbados increased by 227 on Saturday. The new COVID-19 cases comprise 96 males, 131 females. 41 of them are under the age of 18, while 186 are older. The results were recorded from 659 tests carried out by the Besto Santos Public Health Lab. Also in those stats, the number of people in isolation facilities are 80, while 3,820 are in home isolation. A United Nations chartered ship loaded with 23,000 metric tons of Ukrainian grain set sail from the Black Sea port, marking the first departure of a World Food Programme initiative to assist countries facing famine. It plans to sail to Djibouti, where the grain will be unloaded and transferred to Ethiopia, one of the 5 countries the UN considers at risk of starvation.
It'll be the first shipment of food aid for drought-affected East Africa since Russia's invasion in February. More than 16 merchant vessels have left Ukraine in the past 2 weeks after a deal was brokered between Kyiv and Moscow. Well, more than 400,000 tons of produce have left Ukrainian ports since the 1st of August. The UN Food Price Index shows global prices dropped 8.6% between June and July. The UN-chartered ship will depart for Djibouti in the coming days. It will transport more than 23,000 tons of wheat. Well, the UN humanitarian coordinator in Ukraine says the shipment will bring much-needed relief to drought-hit regions.
This shipment, and WP will say more about it, is the first of, we hope, many shipments to come to countries that are suffering great difficulties. There are at least 5 who are already in famine-like conditions and another 20 that are on what we call the watch list for famine. So these shipments are going to be hugely important to those populations.
Eleanor Naroba is a business development manager at MaxiGrain. That's an agri-brokerage company. She says Ukraine is ready to deliver tens of millions of tons of agricultural products to countries in need.
Since the war began, around 20 million metric tons of different kinds of grain and veg oils are stuck in Ukraine. Plus, we started to harvest new crop, which means that we are ready to supply more than 50 million metric tons of different agricultural products to those who are starving. And Ukrainian supply to open Ukrainian ports, this grain corridor means that price of each slice of bread in each part of the world became lower, as Ukraine is a very important player. Main challenge is floating mines, which are in the sea, and that's why ship owners are mostly trying to sit and wait how the first vessel will left, how safe is passage, and then they will make a decision to direct their ships to Ukrainian ports. As on today, 16 vessels already left Ukrainian ports. One of them is new coming vessel, and 2 more vessels which came 2 days ago are now loading grains. One of them are for United Nations program, and we expect in the current 2 weeks to arrive another 15 vessels for supply grain.
Well, the first grain ship to leave Ukraine under that UN-brokered deal is approaching the Syrian port of Tartus. The Razoni set sail from Odessa on August the 1st under the agreement between Russia and Ukraine. The cargo had been heading for Lebanon, but the original buyer refused delivery of the 26,000 tons of corn.
Meanwhile, although fighting continues between Ukraine and Russia, the citizens living in the capital, Kyiv, have begun reshaping a new way of life.
In Kyiv, there is a defiant celebration. Residents are out, unafraid, and active. Call it the new normal. Months ago, people hid in bomb shelters, fearing the Russian invasion. But Ukraine's troops pushed them back, and now the battle lines are far away.
The normal life slowly coming back to Kyiv. We open right now much more restaurants, cafe. It's the business coming back and slowly starting to work. But it's illusion. Blue sky, sunshine, summer, and we have to never forget this couple of hundred kilometers east of Kyiv is hell. It's big battle where our patriots defend our country.
The city's famous opera house is open, but no one has forgotten that this is a country at war and not far off.
We're not in Kharkiv, which is under shelling every day. We're not, it's like in Donbass somewhere. So we're not scared.
Tourists from the other parts of Ukraine have returned to their capital. This might be a war zone, but it doesn't have to feel like one, and that's the point. These people are out despite the occupation. As difficult as it is, the residents of Kyiv say life goes on.
I had to flee to other countries because it was too scary to stay in Ukraine. But now I'm back, and it's still spooky every day when we have air raids, sirens. Everything has changed, but we need to move forward and to live.
For the youth of Kyiv, the rave parties downtown go on, though they now start at 5 p.m. in order to end in time for curfew. Amid the fog of war, the celebration, the defiant insistence on living something like normal life continues.
Still a lot more to come on the CBC Morning Report, but let me just tell you what's to expect when you join me at 6:30 Morning Barbados. We'll talk to you a little bit more about the upcoming Caribbean Investment Summit. What's that about and how can we all benefit? Also today, straight ahead when we talk CARICOM with Ambassador David Commichon, what's on the agenda for CARICOM Plus? The role that Marcus Garvey played in regional integration. That's going to be a pretty interesting conversation. And we'll meet the author of a book who says by far the riskiest time for any woman in a violent relationship is when she decides to escape. Now, why did she say that? We'll meet her and talk more about that and a whole lot more when you join me at 6:30 for Morning Barbados. We'll take a break here on the Morning Report, and we're back in just a moment. Over 40 young people from northern St. James are now better equipped for life. This after completing the Clarkson Foundation's Vibes Life and Work Skills program for young unemployed and underemployed constituents of St. James North. They received their certificates during a graduation ceremony at the Garden Church of God. Over 40 of them participated in that initiative, which focused on improving their problem-solving ability, critical and positive thinking, self-confidence, integrity, attitude, aptitude, and other aspects of their being, which are fundamental to their progress in life. Participants, Kristan Patrick and Nian Thompson, shared their experiences.
Over the, I believe it was 8 weeks, we were exposed to various life skills, such as learning how to present yourself, how much your personal brand matters, how your attitude can affect the way people perceive you, self-control, time management, problem solving, etc. We would have also interacted with a real-world human resources practitioner who coached us on how to prepare an eye-catching resume to land an interview.
Before entering this program, I was reluctant, had low self-esteem, and turned away from seemingly impossible challenges. However, the VICE program has altered all these qualities. I have learned a great deal from participating in this program. It has changed my entire outlook and attitude towards my future. Over the course of the program, each session provided me with new, valuable information. I have learned how to handle conflict effectively, to be unique, to protect my brand, and to set smart goals.
Well, this is the 4th edition of the program, and patron of the foundation, MP for the area, Edmund Hinkson, says he's proud of its success rate.
A lot of your fellow graduates have gained employment since this course began. I don't know if it's coincidental or not, but you would have heard, yes, that within about 3 months of graduation of the 3 previous courses, about 75% of the graduates obtained some form of employment or were able to start their own business. And this program must have assisted in that regard.
Well, the 2022 House of Soca monarchs, Kwan and Bruce Lee Almighty, were in celebration mode over the weekend in the form of a victory motorcade. Shane Jones reports.
Scores of Barbadians lined the streets of Bridgetown to get a glimpse of the kings of Cropover, and some were lucky enough to get pictures with them. The convoy of cars and music trucks filled with entertainers from the tent, including the 2 kings and Dance in Africa performers, left the National Cultural Foundation's headquarters in West Terrace and made its way through Black Rock, Eagle Hall, Baxter's Road, Broad Street, Tweedside Road, and the Ivy before ending at Sky Mall in Haggett Hall. Traffic was stopped on Broad Street as onlookers were treated to an impromptu performance. Pickety Crop winner Kwan said it was about giving back to the fans.
You can see me here in town on the big victory motorcade for myself, Kwan and Bruce Lee. We had to come down with people's first, and we had to come and celebrate with the people. As you can see, we're here in Broad Street, and everyone is just partying and having a good time. We have some merchandise given away, of course, from the NCF. We have I Love Cropover merchandise, we have Kwan merchandise, we have Mobby merchandise, and as you can see, we're just here having a really, really good time celebrating the victories of the House of Soca tent. Bruce Lee Almighty, Kwan, and the entire House of Soca family, we're just here having a grand time.
An elated Tune of the Crop champ Bruce Lee Almighty spoke about his 2022 hit, Mobby.
It's Cropover, everybody want to hear this type of music, you know? Back in the days when I was younger, I used to get the bark to have me when I get trouble. Mother said I would tear the bark off of you. So you know, I can tear the bark off of you. But just turn out the concept and change the concept, and it worked. I wasn't expecting it to be a big song, but it worked out. Big up Barbados and everybody from Barbados for sure. You see? Mobby all the time, be outside. Okay!
C.L. Williams House of Soca tent manager Sharon Carew White was full of gratitude.
Thank you to Barbados, thank you to the persons who came out for Cropover 2022 and supported us. It has been a phenomenal year with young talent in King Kwan, and not so young but really gifted and talented person in Bruce Lee Almighty. Today Barbados, we say thank you, and thanks to our sponsors who've come on board. We've got lots of giveaways. We've got Mobby, we've got snacks, we've got everything that you could want. And here on Broad Street, the speed dancers are just buzzing. It is a really great atmosphere. Barbados, if you're missing it, come back next year. Cropover 2023, we look forward to seeing you.
This is the first time the House of Soca has a Pickety Crop and Tune of the Crop champion in the same year. Shane Jones, CBC News.
Let's go to Jamaica now. There are water issues in Negril, a town in the western part of that country. That's one of the most popular tourist spots in Jamaica. The water shortage has reached a point where residents are speaking out.
Little London residents have been having challenges with consistent water supply for years. They say whenever they do get water, it flows at odd hours.
The only time the water comes in the pipe is 3 o'clock in the night. People can't get up 3 o'clock to catch look of water. By the time daylight, the pipe gone. No water again. So you live with the water whole day, no water. So half of 1 month, no water. 2 weeks, 1 week out of 1 month, water. The balance of week in the month, no water.
If there's a little rain, they tell you that turbidity, so they operate at 50% capacity, sometimes 60% capacity, sometimes 25%. And even at its best, the pressure is still low.
Residents say they do not know why they have been unable to get water from the Bullstrut water pump. Accustomed to the issue, some residents have invested in their own water tanks. But residents say they would rather pay water bills than to refill tanks. They say the National Water Commission is to be blamed.
Them are the fault. Them is the fault. It's not the government are the fault, you know. And them are the fault. For them to get paid. If you do the service and then not do the service. So then now give the people them the service. So when they feel like turn on the pipe, feel water flood, and when they feel like do it. When they feel like some majority people, then some majority people all 2 weeks straight.
And the cost to truck water is exorbitant.
The price has gone up. So now we have to pay like $4,000 for a 600 gallon of water. You know, if it's 1,000 gallon, it's gonna be more. You understand? And we have really a few trucks, so it's still difficult for us.
Sometimes I think that they are compromising with the water trucks, you know. And the water commission people, I think they're compromising with them, you know. I think they're making some money. Somebody making some money somewhere along the line, you know.
Councillor for the Little London Division, Ian Miles, is calling on the government to revisit a document which seeks to network the water supply in Westmoreland.
It has been there for a while. The last time I spoke to the president of NWC, he said that it was out for tender. And, you know, I'm wondering why this process is taking so long. It's a capital project, one that requires a huge amount of funding. But the monies were realized, hence we need to expedite this process to ensure that our citizens in Western Westmoreland doesn't live like second-class citizens.
Our news team contacted the Corporate Public Relations Manager at National Water Commission NWC, Andrew Cannon, for a response, but he says he's unaware of the issue but would look into it.
Let's look at some sports now. The West Indies made sure they came away with a positive result from the T20 International Series against New Zealand by winning yesterday's third and final match at Savannah Park for the series to end 2-1 to the visitors. The Kiwis elected to bat first. They were kept to 145 for 7. Glenn Phillips top scored with a 41, while Odin Smith took 3 for 29 and Akil Hossain 2 for 28. We have highlights of that innings. In road tennis, Kim Holder and Mark Venom Griffith were the women's and men's champions respectively in the Barbados Road Tennis Open Tournament. Damien Best reports on the action on the weekend.
Over 3,000 people packed into the Wilde Gymnasium for the finals of the Barbados Road Tennis Open. before we get to the feature matches in the women's third place showdown. Rachel Smith here in the far court defeated Madeline Blunt 10-21, 21-10, 21-10, collecting the $10,000. Then in the men's third place playoff, Dario Hines regained his road tennis stripes after a crushing defeat in the semis to dispose of Julian Michael Jackson White in 3 straight, 21-18, 21-19, 21-15. And if you thought that was sugary, this one was sweet and dandy. At the end of a 20-ball rally, Nurse got a gift and said thank you so much. The smash and the gym erupts. Is to be commended. Subtle changes of pace, eye candy. Griffith losing his footing. For the first time in the third, the 17-year-old took the lead after locking the game at 13, inching his way to 21. Backarm chop, sumptuous. Game point at 20-18. The margin for error slim, and Griffith clips the top of the net. Nurse staying alive, 21-18 in the third. Well, we wondered if Nurse had enough gas in the tank to take it to a fifth and decisive game. But the
Damien Best there reporting indeed. Let's take a look at the forecast conditions now recorded earlier at the Met Office of the Grantley Adams International Airport. At the moment, we're under mostly sunny conditions, 28 degrees Celsius. The humidity is 81%. The winds are coming from the east at 21 kilometers an hour. Expect a low tide at 6 minutes after noon. It's currently high tide with a second recorded for 25 minutes to 7 this evening. If you're heading to the beach today, smooth to moderate in open water are the swells ranging 1 to 1.5 meters and steady. Today, Barbados should be sunny with cloudy periods and a few brief scattered light showers, mainly across some central, western and northwestern districts. While tonight in Barbados, a mix of clear skies and clouds with a few brief scattered light showers. A look at some international cities' forecast conditions. And that's it for today's edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'm Pearson Bowen. Morning Barbados starts now.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Indeed, good morning to you and welcome to today, Monday, the 15th day of August, 2022. I'm Pearson Bowen, welcoming you here, there and everywhere. Thank you so much for joining us every morning indeed of the week. And we also want to welcome all of you who are watching us on our YouTube and Facebook streams. We encourage you to continue watching us there, interacting with us, as well as we always love to read your comments. Like our page on Facebook, Morning Barbados. Now, coming up today, of course, another chance for you to have some fun with me as we seek to unscramble some letters. We'll have a recap of the recently concluded bodybuilding and fitness regional competition here in Barbados. There are a couple of Barbadians who've gone pro, and there are others who have won or placed very highly in their respective categories. We'll take a look at their achievements. The UWI alumni are having another book drive. Why? We'll tell you how you can be a part of it. The author of the book, Loving the Sisters, following on from Loving the Brothers, will join us this morning. She talks about her new book recently launched. We'll also today in our conversations on CARICOM be looking at the agenda items, most recent ones for CARICOM, plus the work of Marcus Garvey and his role in regional integration. And we want to get started this morning by looking at the upcoming Caribbean Investment Summit. Joining us to talk about that is Ambassador Dr. Andre Thomas, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Upturn Funds Caribbean. With him is Jennifer Hyland, the Chief Communications Officer and Head of Stakeholder Engagement, also with Upturn Funds Caribbean. Both of you, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, Jason.
Thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Thomas, I'll start with you. Talk to me about the rationale behind this upcoming Caribbean Investment Summit.
Okay, the rationale behind it is this. In the evolution of nations, there are times in which economic development ideas that have sustained the rise in the socioeconomic standards of those nations get to a point where their shelf life is about to end. And it is at these particular junctures that a critical mass of political, entrepreneurial, financing, banking, consulting leaders, historically in nations that have navigated these periods well, have come together and bring new ideas into the fray. Now, the Caribbean is at such a juncture, and when you deal with this type of scenario, it cannot be solved by administrative competence because it's not an administrative problem. It cannot be solved by management expertise because it's not a management problem, because it's not about managing your resources. It's about creating new resources. It's about bringing something new to the table. And so this conference is about bringing something new to the table. And it's about bringing new investment. It's about bringing new areas and bringing new sectors and expanding existing sectors. And that's the focus of the conference and the rationale for the conference at this particular pivotal crossroads time in the regional regional economic destiny. Yeah.
It's a relationship between the investor and the person who's seeking the investment. And so I must feel as though I'm going to get a return on my investment as well. So when I bring investment, you're saying we want Caribbean people now to bring initiatives for that investment. Are you confident that we can have a very meaningful investment forum?
Absolutely, because Upton Funds, we are venture capital company. So that means in each one of the tracks, we already have ventures that are in different stages of execution.
Okay.
So this is not a talk shop. It's not, and there's a place for policy making meetings. This is execution orientated, and in all of the 9 sectors that we have, there are major developments. So, I mean, I could give you an example. A Saint A of real estate. What have we done? We have entered into JV relationship with one of the largest mortgage finance companies in the USA to provide mortgages for the 11 million plus Caribbean diaspora that actually live in the US. And we invited real estate agents and real estate developers to come to the meeting and actually register to be able to cross-sell. Now, these mortgages are in residential and also commercial. Think of the level of investment that will come into the region as a result of just one of these initiatives. And so in all of our initiatives, we're not in concept stage. We are very focused on landing these concepts and turning them into reality.
Jennifer, Andre said it's not a management problem, it's not a political problem. So who comes to the table? Who comes to the table here now to resolve this investment issue?
Thank you, Pearson, for that question. Definitely, it's not a management problem. It is a creative problem, a leadership problem. So to answer that question directly, CEO, executive levels in organizations, public sector, private sector, who wants to understand the creative process, how to access finance for their individual projects. And as you've heard, we've got JV partnerships already established, and therefore we want to come and understand how these particular sectors within which companies operating, that they can definitely benefit and get some creative ideas on how to implement. Definitely at the end of the sessions, you get to meet and network with these individuals. So you want to come and understand the dynamics of these specific sectors. And definitely not just the C-suite level, but definitely the small man, so to speak. Because, for example, with respect to manufacturing, how does manufacturing, because we do have a track where the Congressman, Mark Green, who is the co-author and sponsor of the Nearshoring Bill Act for Latin America and Caribbean, bringing jobs from projects and so on from China to the Caribbean to benefit. And you can well imagine artisans and so on who are skilled and need to get opportunities within their sectors can benefit from the transfer of projects and so forth to the Caribbean for the United States. So there is a span in terms of C-suite down to the small man on the street. Social economic dynamics will come to bear for the wide spectrum of individuals and stakeholders.
And I'm glad you said that, because oftentimes when you hear of these investment summits, you're thinking of the large companies, the conglomerates and the like, who should turn up. But you're saying, even little me with my element of basketry, and I'm looking to further my idea, I can also come to this investment summit and seek opportunity. Am I reading you correctly?
Absolutely, that is absolutely correct, Pearson, because when you look at the cry right now in the economy is more so coming from those individuals, as we like to say, the small man. And definitely this particular summit, as you would have heard, is not a small shop. We already have JV partnerships and investment opportunities ready to sign. At the end of each track, we hope to have MOUs signed to start right away initiative. And we talk about trickle-down economics, but what we have done as an organization is to look at the challenges that are happening within the society, not only Barbados, because while the summit is based here in Barbados, it is a regional summit because we are going to other islands as well with this particular summit. But you can well imagine that when persons come, they will have opportunity to learn how the projects that we have created to bring solutions to the societal problems that are occurring right now in society. So we've looked outside in and not inside out. What's happening in the economy and how our JV partnerships and investment opportunities can affect those persons in the society who are feeling the brunt of the economy and what's happening right now.
Andre, oftentimes there's a part of the Caribbean condition that says when people come from outside to invest in the Caribbean, we lose some of who we are. They want to take over and take control. And so there's a little bit of a hesitance and fear of investment in that from that location. What do you say to anyone who's thinking of being a part of it, but who is a little bit reserved about allowing someone from somewhere else to invest in their operation?
That's a really excellent question. And here's the thing, they're correct. I mean, and that is part of the philosophy and ethos of our company, that we want more of financing to remain in the Caribbean. Now, let me explain why that happens. Why that happens, so I'm going to take the gold sector, I'm going to take the mineral sector for this. Now, 90% of Caribbean gold mineral concession owners, when investors come in fact, most of the concessions are never taken to exploitation stage. Now, if they do, it's usually because the foreign investor has come in, and the foreign investor, because the foreign investor is taking the risk, will take 80 to 90% of that concession, so the money leaves the country. Now, how do you stop that? Now, that foreign investor is going to do something. He's going to take the information from that concession and going to go to international financial institutions and get money to work in that country. Here's the thing. The concession owner could also do the same if they understand international banking, if they understand how to operate at that level. So at this event, we're going to demystify international banking. We are bringing not just investors, we're bringing banks. The largest bank in Brazil will be there. We're bringing regional banks. We're bringing the investment arms of banks that have already committed to work with us in investment banking relationships. So we are bringing that so that the small man, the medium-sized man, can understand how to play in that league.
This is fantastic. So it's happening on the 25th to the 27th. Jennifer, give us some details quickly and how people can be a part of it.
Absolutely. There's, again, as you heard, there's over 8 sectors. There's maritime road transportation that's happening on Thursday. Also green energy on Thursday, agriculture and mining on Thursday. Also construction and infrastructure development on Friday. Real estate development. We heard about U.S. mortgage financing, commercial, residential. That's happening on Saturday. And then we have a closing session, master panel, that speaks to what Dr. Thomas just mentioned, how to access international financing. So it's 3 days per session. If we've created a budget for across the spectrum. So if you just want to come to a session, you just pay $100 US, and that does not include hospitality, coffee breaks, and so forth. But if you want to, then you just add $50, that's $150. If you want to stay for the full day, that's $250. And if you want to understand all of what's going on throughout the conference, it's $700 US. Now we've got corporate rates, we've got private sector rate discounts. All they have to do is give us a call at 429-0895, and we will give them those promote codes and discount codes. And also there's a virtual component for your listeners who and viewers who are watching from across the region and internationally. There's a virtual component as well. All of that information is on our website at leadershipatHeadconference.com, and you can register. And there's also, if you want to exhibit your business, small business, doesn't matter what size business you have, you're welcome to exhibit as well at the conference. Yes.
Okay. Well, I wish both of you and all of you the best indeed as you meet together for the Caribbean Investment Summit, 25th to the 27th of August at the Hilton Barbados, and we really hope that there is real fruit at the end of this exchange as well. I wish everyone the very best. Thank you so much, Dr. Andre Thomas, Chief Executive Officer of Upturn Funds Caribbean. With him is his Chief Communications Officer, who is Head of Stakeholder Engagement, Jennifer Highland. All the best with the upcoming summit. You're welcome. You're welcome. We'll take a break here on Morning Barbados. We're coming back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
12 minutes now to go to 7 o'clock. Time for us to have our conversation on CARICOM, one of our favorite segments on a Monday morning. Once again, it's good to see you guest again, Ambassador David Commichon. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Pearson. It's a pleasure to be back again.
It feels like forever we've had this conversation, but it's good to see you indeed. So what's coming up in CARICOM this week? I mean, CARICOM is very, very busy.
As usual, this is a very important week. We start on the 16th, Tuesday the 16th. The first Regional Heads of Government Summit on Climate Change. In preparation, the heads of government are coming together to prepare for the COP27 big climate change conference that will be held in Egypt later this year. And that heads of government meeting will take place in the Bahamas. So that's the 16th to 18th. And then the following day, the 19th, we head over to Trinidad and Tobago, where we will be having the second Agri-Investment Forum and Expo in Trinidad. Back in May, the first Agri-Investment Forum and Expo was held in Guyana. So this is a follow-up. This is all about bringing investors to the table, seeing how we can raise the capital, the finance, to put into the agricultural sector in the Caribbean to really revolutionize agriculture and to meet that target of reducing our food import bill by at least 25% by 2025. And then in Trinidad as well, in the margins of that forum, we have a CARICOM committee, heads of government committee, 6 heads of government that are leading CARICOM in relation to the issue of Haiti. So they will be meeting on the 20th of this month in Trinidad, and those heads would be the heads of government of Suriname, Bahamas, Belize, Barbados, Jamaica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So it's going to be a very, very busy week for CARICOM. But I also want to mention something that is happening, not this week, but that is happening on the 1st of September. Having heard the previous segment on your show, there will be the African Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum, which will be held right here in Barbados at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Center. This is one of the first fruits of the Africa CARICOM Summit that was held last year in September. So what has happened is that the African Import-Export Bank, a very powerful Pan-African bank headquartered in Egypt with branches in several parts of the African continent, they have partnered with 2 of our governmental entities in Barbados, Invest Barbados and Export Barbados, to stage this forum. So all Barbadian business persons, entrepreneurs, anybody who is interested in getting involved in a trade or business relationship with Africa, literally, I think maybe close to 1,000 African businessmen, investors, people involved in finance will be coming to Barbados for this conference. They will be looking for investment opportunities. They'll be looking to invest in Barbados, and they will be telling you about investment opportunities on the continent of Africa. So now is the time to register. Contact Invest Barbados, or you can even Google it. But I just want to speak, perhaps we can talk about this a little bit more next week, Pearson.
Yes.
But I just want to send a word out there. Get it, if you want to get involved, now is the time to register.
Indeed so. And, you know, there's so much going on. There's a change of government in St. Kitts. There's so much to talk about because there are new faces coming to the screen as well. You know, new people, new players in the whole regional integration movement. And speaking of regional integration, tomorrow, tomorrow's the 17th? No, Pearson. Today is the 15th. So 2 days from now, Marcus Garvey would have been, had he been alive, marking another birthday. And so when one thinks of Marcus Garvey and his role in Caribbean integration, it is one that has to be recognized and applauded.
Yes, the Wednesday the 17th, of August will be the 135th anniversary of the birth of Marcus Garvey. And I must tell you that I am heading off to Jamaica on Friday to participate in Jamaica's annual celebration of Marcus Garvey. It's a celebration that is sponsored by the IRI FM radio station in Jamaica, a very popular radio station. So they have invited me to come to speak. And their theme for the celebration this year is Time Come, time for Jamaica to remove the Queen and to become a republic. And I guess one of the reasons they have invited me is because Barbados, we made that move last year. And I think they want to hear about our experience and to see how perhaps Jamaica could benefit from our experience. But yes, Marcus Garvey has to be credited as being one of the fathers, one of the architects of our regional integration movement, in the sense that he came with this very powerful organization way back. He started in Jamaica in 1914. He took it to the US in 1916. It really exploded worldwide by 1918. So he organized Black people all over the world, and particularly in the Caribbean. In fact, there were some 5 or 6 branches of the Marcus Garvey organization, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, right here in Barbados. And so not only did it unite Black people, it brought us together, but what it did at a time when Black people, having gone through centuries of enslavement and colonialism, were really struggling with concepts of self-esteem and self-belief. He held up this notion to us that Black is beautiful, Black is powerful. Black people had done amazing things in their history and were capable of equally amazing achievements in the future. So he gave our people self-esteem and self-belief, and that was critical because that was the foundation for the idea that yes, we could go on to independence, to nationhood, to federation, to Caribbean integration, to building our own autonomous structures. So we must always remember Marcus Garvey as one of our greats, one of our great heroes that brought us together and gave us self-belief. So I'm very pleased to be going to Jamaica to honor the great man, and perhaps to play some little role in helping Jamaica to make that decision to fully consolidate their independence and sovereignty by becoming a republic. Marcus Garvey would have totally approved of that as Black nations, we must take full control of our sovereignty.
And it's just interesting because he was born just shortly after emancipation. I'd say shortly after, even though he was born in 1887. Nonetheless, he's still living with people who would have been just out of emancipation. And I could well imagine the condition that formed his mind and the way he saw and wanted to shape the Black experience. But within all of this, Barbados is continuing still to work even closer with our neighbors. I know there's something looking at the cooperation agreement between ourselves and Jamaica. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, well, I'm glad you mentioned that because, Barbados would have heard a lot about our cooperation, our new initiatives in cooperation with the Southern Caribbean, with Guyana, with Suriname, great work being done there. But we can't neglect any area of the Caribbean. And so we also have to look to the north. And of course we have CARICOM, we have the CSME, so we are engaged in integration initiatives generally, but countries within CARICOM do institute very specific cooperation agreements, and we are working on a cooperation agreement with Jamaica. Of course, with Jamaica, the areas that we would want to get involved in would be perhaps a little different than what we are doing with Guyana and Suriname. So, for example, we are looking at, Jamaica has a great experience with the stock market, the stock exchange. They even have a junior stock exchange that really caters to small businesses. And so we want to establish a joint cooperation agreement with Jamaica, where we set up a joint Barbados-Jamaica Commission for Cooperation. And we will be looking at a whole range of areas, from ease, private sector, best practices and ease of doing business, how we could benefit from Jamaica's experience with the stock exchange, culture and arts, entertainment. I mean, the reggae industry, the entertainment industry, the CARICOM reparations campaign, how Barbados and Jamaica could really collaborate more intensely in taking forward that campaign, how we can bring our strengths in education, in healthcare, in community development. We can share with Jamaica the medicinal cannabis industry, which both countries are trying to pioneer, how we can work together. So yes, this right now, the draft cooperation agreement is being discussed by both countries. We were really hoping to wrap up those discussions and be able to sign the agreement, have the two heads of government sign the agreement at the last CARICOM heads. We weren't able to meet that deadline, but we are hoping that very soon we will have an agreement that both sides agree upon, that our heads of government can sign. So yes, just as we are focusing on Guyana and Suriname in the south, we want to have those very close relations with our brothers and sisters in Jamaica in the north of the Caribbean.
There's so much for you to report on next week, Ambassador Kawashau. I don't know how you'll do that, but we'll make the time for you to report, because there's a lot going on in CARICOM.
I'll be in Jamaica next Monday, so perhaps I'll be able to speak to you from Jamaica. Yes.
Nice indeed. Ambassador, we have to leave it there, but great work as always, continuing. I don't know where you find the energy for it, but you do. Clearly you love it. The passion is right there, and we see it, we feel it, and we're happy to know that we can engage with you to learn more intimately what's happening in CARICOM and get a sense of the movement forward. Thank you so much for joining us yet again this morning, Ambassador.
My pleasure, Pearson. Forward ever, backward never.
Amen. Indeed so. We'll take a break right here. When we come back, I'll update you on the news.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Well, let's catch you up on the news now. Barbadians are being assured the Fair Trading Commission will not be favouring the Barbados Titan Power in the upcoming rate hearing. Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Trading Commission, Dr. Marsha Adley Ikechi, is refuting suggestions that the Commission leans more towards the side of the utility companies whenever there are decisions to be made. She made that comment on last evening's one-on-one program on TV8.
Absolutely not. That is one criticism that is not founded in fact. The utility regulation department is set up such that the analysis has to go into it. We focus our work very much on the empirical data that undergirds everything that we do, as well as the legislation. Those two things are the fundamentals in terms of how we go forward with any decision.
The CEO adds that the consumer protection is just one of the roles performed by the Fair Trading Commission. Commenting again on the rate hearing by the application by the Barbados Light and Power Company, she explains that as the regulator, they have to perform a delicate balancing act.
In the rate hearing, you will hear a lot of talk about rate base, a lot of talk about revenue requirement, a lot of talk about rate of return. The utility will ask for a rate of return, is asking for a rate of return of about 8-something%. The onus of the Commission is not to guarantee that rate of return. And I want to stress that. It is not to guarantee that rate of return. It is to provide an opportunity for the utility to get a reasonable rate of return. A reasonable rate of return is not necessarily what they've asked for.
Well, that rate hearing gets started on August the 25th. Meanwhile, the Fair Trading Commission continues to receive a number of complaints and inquiries from consumers, but those numbers decreased somewhat after the start of the COVID-19 pandemic.
At the end of the financial year, March 31st, we registered a total of 2,452 customer queries. And it will vary depending on the time of year. You will get more around like Christmas time, back to school, high commercial activity periods. Again, in the midst of COVID, we would have seen a reduction in complaints, obviously because the commercial activity was considerably reduced.
The Chief Executive Officer says they're concerned with online services and the possibility of ensuring there is appropriate legislation to cover that area.
We recognize that legislation necessarily does not speak to that in its full state. Legislation obviously oftentimes lags behind the technology, and that is something that we are looking at reviewing so that we can advocate for an amendment in legislation to allow it to be fit for purpose.
Now, a 96-year-old woman is the latest to succumb to COVID-19. Her death on the 14th of August means that the number now stands at 517. Meanwhile, the number of positive cases in Barbados increased by 227 on Saturday. The new COVID-19 cases comprise 96 males, 131 females, 41 of them are under the age of 18. The results were recorded from 659 tests carried out by the lab. Also in those stats, the number of people in isolation facilities was 80, while 3,820 were in home isolation. Over 40 young people from northern St. James are now better equipped for life. This after completing the Clarkson Foundation's Vibes Life and Work Skills program for young unemployed and underemployed constituents of St. James North. They received their certificates during a graduation ceremony at the Garden Church of God. Over 40 young people participated in that initiative, which focused on improving their problem-solving ability, critical and positive thinking, self-confidence, integrity, attitude, aptitude, and other aspects of their being which are fundamental to progress in life. Participants Kristen Patrick and Nian Thompson shared their experiences.
Over I believe it was 8 weeks, we were exposed to various life skills such as learning how to present yourself, how much your personal brand matters, how your attitude can affect the way people perceive you, self-control, time management, problem solving, etc. We would have also interacted with a real-world human resources practitioner who coached us on how to prepare an eye-catching resume to land an interview.
Before entering this program, I was reluctant, had low self-esteem, and turned away from seemingly impossible challenges. However, the VICE program has altered all these qualities. I have learned a great deal from participating in this program. It has changed my entire outlook and attitude towards my future. Over the course of the program, each session provided me with new, valuable information. I have learned how to handle conflict effectively, to be unique, to protect my brand, and to set smart goals.
Well, that was the fourth edition of the program, and patron of the foundation, Member of Parliament for the area, Edmund Hinkson, says he is proud of its success rate.
A lot of your fellow graduates have gained employment since this course began. I don't know if it's coincidental or not, but you would have heard, yes, that within about 3 months of graduation of the 3 previous courses, about 75% of the graduates obtained some form of employment or were able to start their own business. And this program must have assisted in that regard.
Well, that's a look at news until now. We'll have more news right here on TV8 at 12 noon in the CBC Newsday. We'll take a break here on Morning Barbados, and we're back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, 10 minutes now after 7 o'clock. Time for you to give me a call to win. I want to give you some water this morning thanks to N Pure Water Filtration. Bajan Pure Water I'll give to you today if you answer correctly a question which I have for you. Now, the numbers to call are 228-5562 or 228-5563. I have a question. Are you ready for this question, folks? Here's the question. Your question is Bajan Pure Water sodium free? Yes or no? Yes or no? Is Bajan Pure Water sodium free? 228-5562 or 228-5563, the numbers to call to tell me, is Bajan Pure Water sodium free? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Answer correctly and you can win a case of Bajan Pure Water. Absolutely delicious. Good morning to you. Hello.
Morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah.
You're lying down?
Just a little cold.
Oh, you have a little cold? Good dear. And what are you taking for your cold?
Taking some medication.
From your doctor, or this is something you prescribed yourself?
From a doctor.
Okay, fine. And so you're hoping to get over your cold, hopefully by the end of the week, you think?
Yeah.
Are you keeping away from everyone?
Yeah.
Good girl. How many people in the house with you, by the way?
One.
Oh, okay, well, fine. Then you're keeping away from everyone. What's your first name, if you don't mind me asking?
Margaret.
Margaret?
Yeah.
Okay, Margaret. All right. What's your answer for me?
Yeah.
The answer is yes to what?
Sodium free.
Okay. Yes, Margaret, just checking. It is indeed sodium free. You're absolutely right, Margaret. You know, this water is going to help you a lot. So congratulations to you. Stay on the phone, Margaret. Don't put down. I wish you better with your cold and your other health challenges, but stay on the phone. We'll take some more details from you. All right?
Okay.
So the answer is yes, Bajan Pure Water is sodium free. That must be making you jump for joy, right? So congratulations to Margaret. She's got herself a case Go buy your Bajan Pure water and enjoy it, just as Margaret has. We'll take a break right here. When we come back, even more fun on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
14 minutes after 7 o'clock time. As I told you, we're going to have some more fun, right? Time for you to unscramble some letters to untangle your brain early this Monday morning. You know the drill. You shall, once you see those scrambled words, unscramble them, and you shall call me on 228-5562 or 228-5563. These words are easy, I guarantee you. Easy, easy. So what's our first word? Look at this one. Can you figure this one out? Can you figure this one out? It's a good old Bajan word. 228-5562 or 228-5563. I know this one is a tough one. A tough one, but I think you'll get it. I think you'll get it. If you think very carefully and you look at it very clearly, you can see the word I'm talking about here in these scrambled letters. Unscramble them and then call me on 228-5562 or 228-5563. I may even ask you to use the word in a sentence just to see if you've got it right. 228-5562 or 228-5563. What word do you think we can make when we unscramble these letters right here on the screen? You see ESLOCSH. What word can we make when we put those in correct order? Good morning to you. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm thankful.
Oh, you are thankful. That's good to hear. What is your first name and what parish are you watching from?
Alicia, St. Michael.
Alicia of St. Michael. Alicia, all right. You seem as though you think you know the word. Alicia.
Yes, please.
You listen to me. Don't watch or listen to your TV. You listen to me. So, what word do you see on your screen, Alicia?
Closest.
Say it again.
Closest.
Closest?
Yes.
As in C-L-O-S-E-S-T?
Close. C-L-O-S-H-E-S.
C-L-O. Spell it again for me.
C-L-O-S-H-E-S.
S-H-E-S. Cloches? That's what you said?
Yes, close.
Use it in a sentence for me.
She is closest to me.
No, Alicia, that's not it. But thank you for trying. Thank you so much for trying, indeed. No, you're welcome indeed, too. 228-5562 or 228-5563. I told you we're going to have some fun. So what word do you all think this is? What word do you think this is? It's a good old Bajan word. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Come on, and scramble these letters for me. Let's see what you come up with. 228-5562 or 63. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Your first name and what parish are you watching from?
Pam, St. Michael.
Pam of St. Michael. Okay, Pam, my girl, having a good day so far?
Yes, sir.
Is this Pam for short or Pam for short for Pamela?
Yes, yes, it is Pam for Pamela.
Pam as in Pamela. Yeah. No problem, Pam. So talk to me. What word do you see?
Chussel.
I beg your pardon?
Chussel.
Use it in a sentence.
I see my friend down the road with the chussel instead of the girlfriend. And the outside girl, the chussel.
Listen, and you got the whole production crew laughing at you, girl. Me, Pam. But you're right, though. That's your chussel? So Marcus is your chussel, Pam?
No, sir.
Pam, you have a chussel?
No, sir.
You have a chussel?
No, sir. No, I don't have any chussel.
You don't have a chussel?
No, Pearson.
Pam, so, all right. So if you think this is chussel, spell it for me.
CHOSSEL.
CHOSSEL. Yes. All right, Pam, you're absolutely right. Thanks for having some fun with me, okay?
Okay, have a good day.
Good. Pam?
Yes, sir.
I hope you find a chussel soon here. Have a good day, Pam.
Okay, Pearson. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye, indeed. Shall we do one more? Yes, they say. Shall we do one more? So, all right. So, come on. Let's see. You all took forever to figure out chussel. It took Pam. Look at this one now. What word do you think this is? 228-5562 or 228-5563. What word do you think this is when we unscramble the letters? This is easy, weasy, Japanese. Y'all could figure this out like closing your eyes. This one you know for sure. What word do you think we can make when we unscramble these letters on your screen? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Come, folks, figure this one out. This one is easy. I'm telling you. You want a hint? No. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Come on, figure this one out. If you're using another service and you're well behind time, don't you think it wise that you should catch up with the time? Our MCTV customer care desk is open at 8 o'clock this morning. Just a hint. Here we go. Good morning. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. And what's your first name and where are you calling from?
Natasha, St. Michael.
Natasha of St. We only getting St. Michael people this morning? All right, Natasha of St. Michael, you good?
Yes, I am.
Oh, fantastic. You woke up. What time did you get up this morning, Natasha?
About 4:30.
So early?
Yeah.
What happened? You couldn't sleep? You went to sleep early?
No, my work schedule has me on that sort of time.
You sound as if you're complaining.
Not really.
Not really. So you wake up early at 4:30 because you of work. What time do you have to get to work for?
6 usually.
Oh, just pretty much like me, but I get to work much earlier than that. But so do you take the bus or do you drive?
I drive.
Oh, that makes it easier, right?
Yes, it does.
So what part of Barbados, what parish do you work in?
St. Michael.
Oh, so you don't have far to travel?
No, not really.
So when you go to work so early, what time do you finish?
Depends. Maybe 3 or 4.
You sound like the kind of girl when you done, you gone. Yes, Natasha.
Yeah.
I am right. Am I not right? When you done, and you gone.
When I'm done, I stick around in case I need it again.
Ah, you answered correctly because the boss is listening. That's well done. So, Natasha, what word do you see on the screen?
I see graduation.
And what word do you see on the screen now?
So, graduation?
That's the word you see, but what word do you think is on the screen?
On the screen?
Yeah. What word do you think we can, when we unscramble these letters? I heard you with this graduation thing, but what word do you think we can make?
Graduation.
You're not changing from that, Natasha?
No.
Well, you stand there with that. You stand there with that word. You're absolutely right, though, Natasha. Thank you so much. What's that? What were you saying?
You had me doubting myself, like, what?
That is my job. That's my job, to make you doubt yourself.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, yes. I'm glad you have a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Natasha. Have a good day at work, okay?
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much indeed. Well, that's it, folks. We're going to pick this up tomorrow. I have some other big words for you. You better believe it. We'll take a break right here. We're coming back in just a moment with more on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 24 minutes now after 7 o'clock. Time for us to turn the pages of our next chapter, a book written by Pamela Haynes, who is a former senior probation officer. She's also an author. In 2018, she would have published the book Loving the Brothers. In 2022, she's just published the book Loving the Sisters. What is it about? She joins us now to talk about it. Pamela, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
You are very welcome. This is the follow-up to Loving the Brothers, released in 2018. This Loving the series, talk to me a little bit about the decision to have this series of books.
Yes, it's going to be a trilogy. So we start off with Loving the Brothers, and well, that sets the scene really. And the second book is here. She's here. She was born on the 27th of July, so very new. And it took me 2 years to pen that book. And I spent the next 2 years trying to find a publisher. I did so in January 2022. And I'm excited for readers to find out what happens next. So I left everybody on a massive cliffhanger, and they get to find out the next installment. I'm writing Loving the Children at the moment, which will finish the trilogy.
Okay, the trilogy, Loving the Brothers, Loving the Sisters, then to come, Loving the Children. And so you're writing these series of books from your experience, not your personal experience necessarily in terms of it being your life, but because of what you did. So how did what you do for a living in some way encourage you to write what you've written?
Yes, I've worked in the criminal justice system in the UK for over 30 years. I was based, mainly court-based, at most of the courts in North East London, including Snaresbrook Crown Court. And I also spent a spell as a program facilitator for the domestic abuse program here in the UK, where I was working with perpetrators of domestic abuse. I also worked for victim support and worked with victims and survivors of domestic abuse. So I was on the receiving end of hundreds and hundreds of stories from perpetrators and survivors. Very often those men who were perpetrators were also victims of domestic abuse when they were children. Obviously, for confidentiality, I can't use their stories, but so I decided to pen something that was fiction, and it more or less stemmed from there. So the theme of domestic abuse and how the women come together and support each other runs through all three books.
This one, Loving the Sisters, the latest in this trilogy, the second release in the trilogy, speaks to the experience of these ladies from Jamaica. Why based there? And tell us the characters and their personalities so we get to understand what they've been through.
Absolutely. The stories are based in two places. So it's about women who are living in the UK. It's about their experiences in the UK, but an occasion in the book causes them to travel to Jamaica, and the story picks up when they're based in the Grill. It's where the women meet for the first time. I decided to do that because I've been blessed to go to Jamaica at least twice. And I think that I can promote the positive aspects of that beautiful island. But there are a couple of fiery Bajan women who are in the books as well. I've got Veronica, who must be in her 70s by now, who really gives some old school Bain proverbs and knowledge and wisdom to the book. And I also have a fiery Bajan woman called Antoinette, who is a barrister, who again, supports the women around what the legal framework is about and what they need to consider before they make their exit plan. So that's really in a nutshell what the books are about. I wanted to demonstrate that domestic abuse can happen to any woman at any time of her life, but the most important bit is how the women come together, support each other, and get to the next stage of their lives.
So you've been able, in the book, Loving the Sisters, to be able to tell a story, fictional though it is, but yet still weave into it some fact about how they can pull themselves out of this using the law, using past experiences and so forth. So it's a good blend of truth and fiction.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's set in London, I talk about real places. There are a few real people in the books as well, which people really like. There are local heroes in the book. And the books look at how the women can support each other, but in real life. I think it gives a good sense of how women carry themselves and what their life experiences are in the UK.
One of the lines in the book, you say, by far the riskiest time of any woman in a violent relationship is when she decides to escape. Why is that the riskiest time?
Because it's a time that if the man finds out, because very often it's male violence, if he finds out that there is a plan to leave, it can put her life at risk. It can also put the life of her children at risk as well. So it's a very brave act, and I understand why some women don't leave, because it's a very scary time period to decide you want to exit and have an exit plan. So if you're going to leave a domestic abuse situation, you have to plan how you're going to do that to keep yourself and to keep your children safe. So, which is why I support the charity in Barbados. I'm one of the ambassadors for Advocates Against Domestic Abuse, and Barbara and her colleagues work tirelessly to keep women and their children safe in Barbados who are escaping a toxic relationship. Many people say, well, why don't they just leave? But it's not a case of just leaving. There are a number of reasons why women can't. And they're at all times, they have to keep in mind their own personal safety as well. And that's why I just love the work that Barbara does. And I try to support her and her team the best way I can.
You said too that Loving the Sisters is about love, sisterhood, and loyalty. Love, sisterhood, and loyalty. And while we oftentimes think that's easy for women to do, women tend to herd very quickly, very easy. That's easy, but it's not always easy, because not all people see things in quite the same way. So in facing domestic violence, finding oneself in that situation or wanting to escape that, how is your book going to help, using the themes love, sisterhood, and loyalty, to help that woman who finds herself trapped right now but is on the cusp of seeking to escape?
Well, I would say what tends to happen, I can only speak for the UK, that when a woman meets a new man, her friends tend to fall back. Well, I don't want to be the third person in the loop, or, she has a partner now. And in my opinion, that's when we should be stepping up to find out what this man is all about. And because they may not be who they pretend that they're going to be. And also there are a number of red flags, and very often trying to cut the woman off from her friends and isolate her from friends and family tends to be one of the main tactics that gets used. So I would argue that if you have a woman that's seeing a brand new partner, still have girly times together, still go out and about and support each other and just be there for that woman. I mean, I think that's what true sisterhood and friendship is all about.
It sounds like a really good read. Loving the Sisters by Pamela Haynes, that's her name. So Pamela, for those watching today who are thinking, I need to read this book, not only because they see them or hear themselves being discussed, but because they're curious as to what to do should the situation meets them, where can one get a copy of the book?
Well, the book is available on Amazon.com for the Caribbean, and Barnes & Noble. It's there as well. I'm hoping to work with Shackle House Books like I did last time for them to stock the book and pages at Bridgetown Duty Free. So hopefully the books will be available there soon as well. But for the time being, it's mainly online at Amazon.
Yeah, I really want to encourage people to get the book. Indeed, Loving the Sisters by Pamela Haynes. You see the three sisters there? Patty, Charmaine, and Rose. Those girls have a story to tell indeed. They look sassy, but sometimes, the picture is not as pretty as it appears. And so how do they now restore to beautiful pictures indeed is what you can find when you turn the pages of Loving the Sisters, indeed, by Pamela Haynes. Pamela Haynes, as always, thank you so much again for joining us. We can't wait for Loving the Children, the third in the trilogy, to be released. Are you already engaged in that? That's already in progress?
I'm on chapter 3. I'm excited about creating new characters and new spaces and new plot twists. Yeah, I'm very excited for loving the children, because as we know, domestic abuse impacts on children also.
Whether they receive it themselves or they're just part of it as well. So thank you so much. I wish you the very best with this series of books, Loving the Brothers, now Loving the Sisters, to come, Loving the Children by Pamela Haynes. Find it, folks, at all of those bookstores we just talked about, Barnes & Noble, and soon to be available here in Barbados, but on Amazon as well. All the best, Pamela. Thank you so much for joining us from the UK.
Thanks for having me. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Bye now.
We're going to take a break right here. We're coming back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
24 minutes now to go to the hour of 8 o'clock this Monday morning, Monday the 15th of August. The UWI alumni, they are again engaged in a book drive. And I know you're saying books, books, books. Yes, because books are the gateways to your experience through life, your future, your vocabulary, your everything, indeed. And so joining us this morning to talk about the second book drive is Solomon Hunt, who is a member of the UWI alumni, and with him is Keandra Prescott, the secretary of that alumni. Good morning, both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning. This is the second. I'll start with you, Keandra. This is the second. How did the first book drive go? And who benefited from it?
Well,
I seem to have lost your audio. So, Keandra, just pause. We will work with you to sort that out. But let's go to you, Solomon, instead then. Talk to me, Solomon, a little bit about the first book drive and how it went.
Oh, yes.
The first book drive, excellent drive. Our president, our vice president, Cecilia Neblett-Braffett, she came up with the idea, and she was assisted by our alumni officer, who was Maxwell, as well as other members of, the alumni cell. The drive basically was to assist students during the COVID pandemic period in being able to come away from the screens and read more often. It was called From the Screen to the Page. It took a little over 6 months to complete, but it was completed in a good time.
Yes.
The problem for that, as we all know, is because of the various setbacks and getting the books come into play. But eventually those books were donated by individuals over the island, and the material for the bookshelves were donated by some business places. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank those persons who donated the materials. We have places like Terrific Tiles, who donated the tiles. We have Inks Trucking, who donated the material for the bookshelves. And we had H&B Hardware, who personnel assisted us with the colors and the paint, and that was Mr. Rohan Paint.
Right.
In addition to that, I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all those individuals who were outside of the alumni committee who really lent a helping hand. And those such persons were like Neville Legal, who did the murals. We also had Veer, and we had Seth Hunt, who assisted with the final preparation of the bookshelves at the school. Those persons were not alumni members, but they assisted and gave of their time without pay, which was a wonderful thing. That drive went well. So we are hoping now to move on to the next drive.
Right.
And the next drive basically is, we're turning a different page now. We're working along with the Ministry of Education, and they have asked the teachers, the guidance counselors, and the parents of some of these schools to identify the schools that may really need the library, which we have labeled UWI Library. And we're asking that the general public donate whatever books they have. Those persons whose children have finished school and the books are just lying around the house, just donate it, and you can donate those books to our alumni officer, Roseanne Maxwell, or to our vice president, Cecilia Neblett-Braffett. And that's basically it for now.
Okay. Well, let me help you. Don't panic. So the Good Shepherd School was the first recipient indeed, and so we saw the painted walls, the bookshelves, we saw happy faces, children reading books. Is Keandra back? Keandra, are you okay now?
Yes.
Right. So Keandra, this book drive is you're filling out a library. So therefore you want to have not just one text. You want to have a number of books, variety of books. So in this book drive, what kinds of books are you looking for?
Well, right now they basically ask us for children books. So any story books, yeah, children books, because we are catering at this point mainly to the primary schools. We haven't been asked as yet to deal with the secondary schools.
So you're looking for storybooks for the children and activity books, I suppose, as well?
Yes.
So for anyone, then you're asking all of us who either we purchase it, because you don't just want disused books that are so tattered. You want still to be able to present.
Well, if you have books that are in good condition, because some of us do have books that are in good condition, and you feel free to bring those books, donate them, and somebody else can use them if your children are no longer using them anymore.
What I'm trying to get away from really is those who use this opportunity and appeal like this to figure, let me clean the house. I will dump them on them, and they will figure out from there really what they want to do with it. But you're saying no, because let's think of our children in primary school and what they need. And if you would want this for yourself, a book in good condition, then give to this effort as well a book in good condition. So this drive now is on. When does the drive end?
I guess you would just, we don't really have an end date.
Okay, so just keep donating, because you'd like to be able to
Yeah,
donate to as many
the
schools
more
as
the merrier.
possible. All right,
Yes.
great. And where can one
Because
make a
then that
donation?
means we can reach more schools.
So true. Where can one make a donation of books?
You can make the donation to the alumni office. You can ask to speak to Mr. Roseanne Maxwell, or you can speak to you can ask her to put you in contact with Cecilia.
Okay.
She has also asked that we can give her number. Miss Maxwell's number is 417-4544, and Cecilia's number is 823-1113.
Okay, 417-4544 or 823-1113 are the numbers to call if you have a book. Some books for donation. And any number of books is good. We don't want necessarily bad books. We just want some good books. Now, Solomon, there are times when sometimes the books, and let me see if I can find this the most polite way to say this. There are some books that are so specifically written for girls, but there are boys that also want to turn the pages of books. Are you also going to be specifically looking at books that would help boys develop?
Yes, any book that helps with the educating of the students, the young students, we are willing to accept. Gender now is a thing of the past, and we have many different identities for gender now. So really and truly, it doesn't matter. The book and the contents of the book is what is important.
Okay, fair enough. So if you have a book to donate, folks, you can call 417-4544 or 823-1113. And there's no deadline. You can continue donating as many and as often as you can. And you're hoping now, Kiandra, to be able to donate these books to as many schools as possible. I know Solomon would have talked about going in also to do some painting of bookshelves or other materials and the like. Are you also asking for those donations?
Well,
Yes,
at this point, right, sorry. The ministry, they would have looked to see if there were any schools that had the facilities for us to do the same thing that we did at the Good Shepherd School. But they said because they have guidance counselor offices now and there's room to facilitate the books, they've just asked us to bring the books.
Okay, so no book is too small, no number of books is too small, really. We want you to donate as many books. For those of you who have children who've just moved on to another stage of their life, especially into the 11 plus, they've just completed their 11 plus, but they still have some really good used textbooks and books that you can donate. For those of you whose child has now graduated to another level and has gone beyond the Hardy Boys now, for instance, donate those books as well. Or if you have some activity books as well, donate. And again, to make your donation, you can call 417-4544 or 823-1113 and coordinate right away with those folks how you can drop off your donation. And no donation is too small. We do want to thank all of them who are considering making a donation today. And we thank both of you as well from the alumni, the UWI alumni, for engaging in this way to continue to bring education to our schools and assist our schools, because, you know, the powers that be can't do everything on their own. So as much as possible, us in civil society can lend our assistance through the donation of books to build out school libraries. That's so critical indeed. So Solomon Hunt and Kiandra Prescott, thank you for joining us. We wish you the very best in this second book drive.
Thank you.
Pearson, before you go.
Yes.
You there? Right.
Yes.
I want to also add that those graduates of the university and past students, I want them to remember their alumni pledge, which is, as a graduate of the University of the West Indies, I commit myself to uphold ideals and goals of my alma mater. My conduct and voice shall reflect the commitment of excellence of the light rising from the West. As I fulfill my social responsibility and serve my community and region, I will strive to ensure the university plays as a Caribbean icon, the catalyst for Caribbean development and leadership. It is a legacy that I will probably help build for future generations. So we want to take this opportunity to ask all those past graduates who have not yet joined up to be members of the association, come on board. We are offering now a lifetime membership of $60. All you have to do is get that registration form, and you can get that registration form from the same alumni office or myself. And $60 a lifetime. We have moved away from the annual fee, And we're now doing a lifetime membership fee because we are hoping that all will come on board and help us with these drives and other projects that we have in place. Because we have a number of projects that we want to get on stream, and we are hoping that we can get some of them done before the year end. For example, we have sale coming up, but we need persons to assist us in those areas. And it's all volunteer work. So that's why we are calling on the graduates and past students to assist us, come on board, become members so that we can call on you because you pledge that you will help us. And we really need your help this time. So you can get, if they're interested in any forms, like I said, call the alumni office or you can call my number direct. And that number is 832-8284. 832-8284. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you too as well. Thanks both of you. All the best. We'll take a break here on Morning Barbados. When we come back, there's much more in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's 11 minutes now to go to 8 o'clock. We just concluded recently here in Barbados at the Lord Erskine Sandiford Centre the CAC Championships and the Bodybuilding Fitness Championships as well. We have some winners. We have some professionals as well. Joining us this morning are those who've just gone to pro, Ramon Brooms and Natasha Jones. With them too is Danielle Gill, who won in her height class in the bikini fitness. Good morning to each of you. Good morning indeed. And let's start with you, Danielle. Talk to me a little bit about your win. Go ahead, Danielle. Talk to me about your win. So everybody's lip syncing. That's if we get this here sorted out, we'll get the audio sorted out. Ramon, can you hear me? Let's hear you. Good morning, Ramon.
Hi, good morning. Yes, I can hear you.
There you are. Yes. Now, you've gone pro. You've come from an amateur now into pro. That transition, what does it mean to you?
To be honest, it just feels really good because it's something I would have been working towards for a very long time, 16 years to be exact. So it just feels really good. It feels really good.
16 long years. Consistent years as well, because you've consistently been there, consistently performing on the stage as well. What was the competition like on the weekend for you?
For the CAC aspect, I was very confident going in. And after seeing the competition at the weigh-in and what's not, I felt very, very good about my chances. So I felt good. For the pro show now, I was just really looking to get my feet wet and see where I would need to improve going forward. But it ended up working out pretty good for me there as well. So no complaints. It was all good.
Well done. Natasha Jones, you too now have just gone pro. Natasha, talk to me about that experience transitioning.
Well, the experience was one that I did not expect because at the end of this season, I had a couple goals and I just wanted to improve on the package from 2019. I had no thoughts of becoming a professional athlete, but my coach and I, and as well as my nutritionist, we decided to set some goals for this season, and I surpassed nearly all of them. I can say. So I was very elated to become a professional on on the 29th of July.
You're smiling because you see yourself on the screen. So now you look at yourself, critique yourself. Are you happy with what you saw, with what you can see now?
I'm happy with what I was able to bring to the stage, given all the other challenges I would have encountered. But I'm not satisfied as yet. I still have a lot of growing to do, and I still have, well, the capacity to do that.
So what's your next goal? So you had some goal settings which you've achieved. What's the next goal?
Well, to compete on the professional stage, I did the Roger Boys Classic on the 31st, but to pretty much compete on the pro stage come next year, and to make some improvements to the physique that I brought to the stage on the 31st.
All right. Danielle, let's get back to you now. Danielle, talk to me a little bit about your experience, because you've won your height class in the bikini fitness. How was that for you?
It was overwhelming, to be honest. It was very overwhelming because I knew that I was going to do good, but I didn't know that I was going to do that good, like that well.
Why didn't you think so at the beginning?
I mean, I'm still really new to this. This was only my second showing ever. And the decision to even do nationals was really late. So I never really expected that I would be on the CAC stage.
But you have been on the CAC stage and you've won your height class. So now that you know that you are a winner and what you can do, what's your next plan?
I have already started preparing for next year. I plan to be on multiple stages next year.
See, that shyness is gone now. So now I'm ready for many, many stages indeed. What does it take for you to continue competing on those many stages that you have a plan for?
Right now I'm just working with my coach, who's also my nutritionist and posing coach. We're just really working towards building my physique a little bit more and building my confidence.
Ramon, you're also a coach. When you look at Danielle's physique there, give me some, can you critique it for me? I want Danielle to hear it herself. What do you think of the way she looks?
I think she had a phenomenal showing. The improvements from nationals to CAC was, in my opinion, quite drastic. So she seems to be on the right path with regards to everything. The physique, the posing, bringing that confidence on stage, which is very important for that. Well, I mean for all the classes, but for sure for that one, you need to bring that flair and what's not. So I think she's in a very good place. Everything is balanced. Just stay focused, and she will definitely do well in the future.
See, Danielle, you got a good review. Well done indeed, indeed. So, Ramon, know that you are a professional. You've got the pro card. Look at yourself there now. What do you think of this? What can you improve?
Well, I definitely want to get back to training my upper body, in particular my shoulders and my chest, and back to full capacity. I've been struggling with an injury, which would have been plaguing me throughout the entire prep, really and truly. So it inhibited me from really training the way I would like. So I just want to rehab that completely and just grow, really and truly. That's all that's needed now.
But as a professional, are you now required to enter a series of competitions to maintain that professional designation?
No, you have to pay a fee. So once you pay that fee, you are pretty much open to compete throughout the year in shows that allow you to just join. Some shows are invitational. Once you get invited to those, obviously you would compete there as well. So no, once you pay your membership, you are pretty much free to compete in as many shows as you would like.
Natasha, you heard that. So you have to pay the fee, and now you are entitled to perform in as many shows as you'd like hereafter. So what's the next one you think you have set in on your laser radar to compete in regionally or even internationally?
Well, my team and I have...
sorry.
Natasha.
I thought you meant me.
Sorry. All right, sorry. My team and I, we have decided to train for June, because it's still based on what I saw on the night at the Roger Boys Classic. I have a lot of growing to do, so I need to make some improvements with my shoulders, my back, my hamstrings. So I want to make those improvements first before I actually attempt to go on stage again. So the
pretty
next
much
show
another
will
year.
possibly be, yes, another year.
That's smart. And what about you, Danielle? I know you said you want to be able to be on another stage real soon, several stages as a matter of fact. What's the next short-term plan?
Next year, I'd like to be nationals again. I'd also like to be in St. Martin. And then again, make the CAC team, if possible.
All right.
And possibly, if I get my pro card next year, I'd like to be at the Roger Boys show.
Already going for pro. You know, it took Ramon 16 years to get to make a decision to go to pro. And you're ready after year 2 to go pro.
Yeah, I think I can do it if I put my mind to it.
Lovely, lovely indeed. So everyone is all sharp and all focused indeed. I want to wish each of you much success with all of your plans. You're already, for all of us here in Barbados, winners. And we will continue to come out and support you every card you're on and everywhere you are, indeed, because you do it so well. Ramon Brooms, Natasha Jones, and Danielle Gill, 3 of Barbados' best when it comes to bodybuilding and bikini fitness and all the rest indeed. So thank you so very much as professionals and amateurs for doing what you're doing and representing Barbados so handsomely. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. We had hoped this morning to have Everton Branch, who won the men's muscular physique, and Shakira Duggan, the coach, but unfortunately, owing to circumstances beyond their control, they could not be with us this morning. But to the whole team, we say congratulations indeed. Well, that will do it for us today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. I really want to thank all of you for continuing to participate. Remember, if you want to see something again, go back to our streams on Facebook or YouTube. You will see it all again for yourself, and you can write down or jot down the information as you see fit. My producer has been Alicia Alsgrant. Our technical director, Anderson Nurse. Our sound director this morning has been Christopher Blenman, and Master Control, the one, the only, Tamisha Green. I'm Pearson Bowen. For all of them, to each of you, we say good morning. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.